On the show today, the International Monetary Fund warns countries against relying too heavily on monetary policy easing. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa to brief lawmakers as South Africa seeks to cut spending. Plus, Mali's new mining code ends tax exemptions and other protections. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu. First, the markets. Well, sentiment was dampened across major markets here on the African continent. However, the reverse was the case for the Nigerian market as the index remains in the positive territory. At intraday, the NSE index was up 0.43%. The JSE index, on the other hand, was down 0.78%. In Egypt, the EGX 30 also traded in the red zone, down 0.19%, and Kenya closed Wednesday session negative. In the Middle East, negative sentiment was also observed in most of the markets except in Qatar. At intraday, the Qatari stock index was up 0.42%, but Saudi Arabia's stock market fell, pulled lower by its banking shares. In the UAE, Abu Dhabi was down 0.03%, while Dubai traded in the red 0.79%. And European stocks traded mixed in early trade after widely watched 2-year, 10-year U.S. yield curve inverted for the second time in 2 weeks after the release of minutes from the latest meeting of the U.S. Federal Reserve's Federal Open Market Committee. Well, Conrad will feed us in with all the details from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Good afternoon, Conrad.
It's after half past. I'm usually hearing a signal from the show. I'm not at the moment. So
Well, Conrad, if you could hear me, it's a mixed day at the European bourses after the minutes of the last meeting of the U.S. Federal Reserve's Open Market Committee was released. What's the talk among traders in Frankfurt? How are they reacting to the information from the Federal Reserve?
only hear.
Well, there seem to be some kind of technical issues. Sometimes it does happen. Let's see what's happening in the UK. Of course, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is to meet Emmanuel Macron of France later, hours after the French president insisted reopening negotiations is not an option. According to Macron, we have to help the British deal with this internal democratic crisis, but we mustn't be hostage to it or export it. Let's see how this is playing out in London, and my colleague Juliana has all the details. Hello, Juliana. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chimeze.
So how are the markets in London reacting to Prime Minister Boris Johnson's meeting with Angela Merkel, even as he prepares to meet Macron, who already told him Brexit deal could not be reopened?
Well, Boris Johnson has just wrapped up his press statement, a joint press statement with Emmanuel Macron. And yesterday, French insiders close to the president said Macron would be polite but firm with regards to reopening that withdrawal agreement. And that's exactly what he was. There was a very warm, seemingly friendly handshake between the two of them that lasted a couple of seconds. And then they went and spoke to the press. Macron emphasizing, re-emphasizing that the Irish backstop was indispensable and couldn't be taken out of the withdrawal agreement. And Boris Johnson said that's exactly what needed to be done. I suppose the light at the end of the tunnel was Macron agreeing with Angela Merkel's statement yesterday that said if within 30 days the British government can come up with some sort of solution to this backstop, then potentially negotiations would be able to continue. This is very good news because, of course, Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel are the biggest economies within Europe, and whatever they say usually does go when it comes to EU negotiations. So